The most dangerous moments aren't loud, they're quiet. They happen when two bodies come close and the world stops watching. A hug looks innocent to everyone else, but to her nervous system, it's a question. And how you answer it decides everything. Most men think attraction is built with words, confidence, posture. Those matter. But touch bypasses logic. It speaks directly to the oldest part of her brain, the part that decides safety or desire before she can explain why. And here's the truth no one ever told you. A hug is not one touch. It's a sequence. And the sequence is everything. When you hug her, she's not asking, is he strong? She's asking, does he understand space? Lust doesn't come from grabbing. It comes from restraint, from the subtle control of pressure, timing, and intention. The first hidden touch isn't even about your hands. It's about how you enter her space. Do you rush in, like you're entitled to her body, or do you slow down just enough that her body leans forward to meet yours? That micro pause before contact does something powerful. It creates anticipation. Her body prepares. Her breath changes. You're telling her, without saying a word, I'm aware of you. Most men miss this. They crash into the hug, and when you rush, her nervous system tightens instead of opening. The second truth is pressure. A hug that turns desire on is never limp and never crushing. It's firm enough to feel grounded, soft enough to feel safe. Think of it as containment, not force. When your arms close around her, you're not pulling her in. You're allowing her to settle. That distinction matters more than you know. And then there's stillness. This is where lust quietly wakes up. Most men hug and immediately move, patting, rubbing, adjusting. That movement reads as nervous energy. Stillness reads as confidence. When you hold her without fidgeting, even for 2 seconds longer than expected, her body has time to register you. Warmth spreads, breathing sinks. The hug stops being social and starts being intimate. What you're really doing here is telling her body, you can relax here. And relaxation is the gateway to desire. A woman cannot feel lust in a body that feels rushed or unsafe. The hug becomes erotic, not because of what you do, but because of what you don't do. Most men think attraction is built by escalation. The men who understand women know it's built by calibration. You're not trying to take something from her in that moment. You're letting her feel what it's like to be held by a man who is fully present, fully controlled, and completely unneedy. And once her body feels that, it remembers. The third hidden touch happens after the hug begins, not before it ends. And almost no one talks about it because it feels too subtle to matter. But it's the difference between a hug that's forgotten and one that lingers in her body hours later. It's where your hand rests. Most men wrap their arms wherever feels convenient. Upper back, shoulders, sometimes too high, sometimes too low. What her body responds to is intention. When your hand settles in the middle of her back, not wandering, not squeezing, just present, it creates a quiet signal of leadership. You're not searching for permission. You're offering steadiness. That location aligns her posture with yours, bringing your centers closer without forcing them together. Her body reads that as masculine grounding. Then comes the fourth touch, breath awareness. This one is invisible, but it's powerful. If you hold your breath or breathe fast, her body mirrors it. Anxiety transfers instantly. But when you slow your breathing, deep, calm, unhurried, her nervous system begins to sync with yours. This isn't theory. Human bodies are wired for co-regulation. When your chest rises slowly against hers, her breath follows. And when her breathing deepens, tension releases. That release is where desire sneaks in. Now here's where most men sabotage everything. They end the hug too quickly or too abruptly. The fifth hidden touch is the exit. How you let go matters just as much as how you hold. When you release a hug that carries charge, you don't pull away suddenly like you're afraid of what just happened. You loosen your arms gradually. You let the contact fade instead of snapping it off. That slow release tells her body, this connection wasn't an accident. Her brain may try to label the moment as just a hug. Her body knows better. And then there's the sixth touch, the one that doesn't feel like a touch at all. It's what happens in the half second after you separate. If you immediately look away, step back, or fill the silence with words, the spell breaks. But if you stay present, soft eye contact, relaxed face, grounded posture, you allow the sensation to complete itself inside her. This is where meaning forms. Lust isn't created by aggression, it's created by coherence. When your touch, breath, timing, and presence all tell the same story, her body feels something rare, congruence. You're not trying to impress her, you're not trying to take something, you're simply there. And paradoxically, that's what makes her want more. Understand this. A hug that turns into desire doesn't scream sexuality. It whispers safety mixed with confidence. It tells her, this man is comfortable in closeness. He doesn't rush. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't disappear. And once a woman's body feels that combination, it starts asking questions her mind wasn't planning to ask. Questions like, what would it feel like to stay here longer? This is the level most men never reach, not because it's hard, but because it requires restraint, awareness, and emotional control. The same traits that build attraction everywhere else in your life. And when you master them in something as simple as a hug, you stop needing tricks, because your presence does the work for you. Here's what separates a hug that creates desire from one that stays emotional. Tension management. Not sexual tension you force, but emotional tension you allow. Most men either overdo touch or avoid it entirely. Both come from the same place, fear of misreading the moment. And fear is felt instantly. When your body is relaxed but alert, her body feels it. When your muscles are tight or performative, her body resists. This is why the seventh truth, though no one counts it as a touch, is muscle tone. Soft arms feel uncertain. Rigid arms feel controlling. But grounded, relaxed strength feels like stability. That balance tells her body, you're safe here, but you're not in charge. And that contrast is deeply attractive. Another layer most men ignore is alignment. When your torso is fully facing hers, not angled away, not hovering, you're signaling presence. Partial alignment communicates hesitation. Full alignment communicates commitment to the moment, not necessarily to her. Women read that difference instinctively. You're not clinging, you're not retreating, you're choosing to be right here. Then there's the emotional undercurrent. If your mind is racing, is this okay? Am I doing it right? Your body leaks that uncertainty. Desire can't grow in mental noise. A hug that awakens lust comes from a man who is internally quiet. He's not thinking about the outcome. He's experiencing the connection. That presence creates a container her emotions can move inside of. This is where memory forms. Her brain might forget the conversation. Her body won't forget how she felt in your arms. It remembers regulation. It remembers calm. It remembers the absence of pressure. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Many men hug to receive reassurance. They want to be liked, wanted, approved of. That neediness collapses polarity. The hug becomes a transaction. But when you hug without needing anything back, not affection, not validation, not escalation, you reverse the dynamic. She becomes the one sensing depth. Curiosity grows. Desire follows curiosity. What you're really offering her isn't sexuality. It's emotional leadership. You're saying, I can hold closeness without losing myself. That's rare. And rarity is attractive. This is why a hug can quietly outperform any pickup line, any bold move, any verbal flirtation. Because it's honest, it's embodied, it's felt, not argued. And when a woman's body feels honesty combined with strength, something opens. Not because you pushed it open, but because it wanted to. That's the level this operates on. Not technique, not manipulation, awareness. And once you have that awareness, every point of contact in your life changes. Not just hugs, but handshakes, proximity, silence. Because people don't respond to what you do. They respond to who you are while you're doing it. There's a deeper layer to this that most men never examine: intention versus hunger. A hug charged with desire doesn't come from wanting her. It comes from choosing her in that moment. Hunger feels like need. Intention feels like clarity. Her body knows the difference instantly. When you hug with hunger, there's a subtle pull, a grasping energy. It feels like you're trying to extract something, affection, attraction, reassurance. Even if your hands are gentle, your energy isn't. Her body stiffens, even if she smiles. But when your intention is clean, no agenda, no rush, your touch feels rare, almost expensive, like you don't give access to your presence lightly. That's when the hug becomes intimate without being sexual. Another overlooked element is timing in her emotional state. Desire doesn't respond to randomness. It responds to attunement. If she's stressed, overwhelmed, or guarded, a properly held hug can ground her. If she's already relaxed and open, that same hug can tip into desire. The touch itself doesn't change. Your awareness does. You're not imposing a mood. You're reading one. This is masculine intelligence most men were never taught. Then there's silence. Silence during a hug isn't awkward when you're comfortable in it. Words pull her back into her head. Silence keeps her in her body, and lust lives in the body, not the mind. When you don't rush to explain or justify the moment, you allow sensation to deepen. Here's where the psychological shift happens. At some point in the hug, if it's done right, she stops evaluating you. She stops thinking about what this means. She just feels. That's the exact moment attraction strengthens. Evaluation kills desire. Feeling fuels it. And notice this. You didn't do anything dramatic. You didn't escalate. You didn't push boundaries. You simply stayed grounded long enough for her defenses to lower on their own. That's power most men never touch, because it requires emotional self-control. It requires being okay if nothing more happens. Ironically, that's why something often does. A hug like this reframes how she sees you, not as a man trying to win her, but as a man who is centered in himself. Someone whose presence changes the emotional temperature of the room. Someone whose touch doesn't beg, rush, or demand. And once a woman feels that kind of presence, it quietly reorders her attraction. She starts comparing other men to how she feels around you. Most won't measure up, not because they're bad men, but because they're disconnected from their own bodies. This is why the smallest moments create the biggest shifts, because they reveal who you are beneath the performance. And desire always follows authenticity paired with strength. Here's the final truth that ties all of this together. The hug was never about turning her on. It was about revealing who you are when no one is watching. Desire isn't created in the moment, it's recognized. Her body recognizes a man who is settled in himself, who doesn't rush intimacy and doesn't fear it either. A hug becomes lustful when it contrasts with the rest of the world. Most of her day is noise, demand, chaos. People want things from her. When she steps into your arms and feels calm instead of pressure, her body marks you as different. That difference is what creates polarity. That polarity is what becomes desire. This is why technique alone will never work. You can copy the pressure, the timing, the stillness, but if inside you're chasing an outcome, she'll feel the mismatch. The hug won't land. Lust responds to coherence. When your inner state and outer behavior match, her body trusts the signal. And trust is erotic. Understand this clearly. A woman doesn't feel turned on by being touched. She feels turned on by how she feels about herself when she's with you. Grounded, safe, desired without being hunted, seen without being evaluated. That's what these hidden touches create. Not arousal, but permission. Permission for her body to soften. Permission for her mind to quiet. Permission for curiosity to emerge. And once curiosity appears, desire follows naturally. This is why men who master presence don't chase chemistry. It finds them. They don't force moments. They allow them. Their touch doesn't ask questions. It answers them. So the next time you hug a woman, don't think about what it means. Don't think about what comes next. Think about one thing only. Can I be fully here without needing anything? If the answer is yes, your body will do the rest, Because when a man can hold closeness without urgency, without fear, without expectation, he becomes unforgettable. Now, I want to ask you something personal, and I want you to answer honestly in the comments. When was the last time you hugged someone without needing anything in return? And how did it change the energy between you? If this video gave you clarity, hit the like button, subscribe for more deep truths about attraction and self-mastery, and share this with a friend who needs to hear it more than he realizes. Some lessons don't change how you act. They change who you are when you act.